Minasan, Kamen Rider Geats episode 20 discussion is gonna begin right now, and my mind is blown. Legit, my mind is blown because the disaster turns out to be our Lopo girl, our Sae-chan. I am blown away because when both of them was being introduced, both Lopo and Sparrow was being introduced, I felt like Sparrow seems to be the biggest misdirect to the entirety of the plot, and the way how Sai works, how Lopo actually react in the first game of the third arc itself, I'll show her as someone that might not actually seems to be a disaster at all, but she is someone that just trying her best to win the game. She is someone who is there for her own mission, someone who is there to get the body of her dream, to get the athletic body that she always wanted. That is the first impression we got of her. But now in the third game of the third arc of the DGP itself, we actually get to learn more about Lopo, and we get to learn that her dream is not actually for herself, but her dream is for her family. The purpose of her wanting to have that body is so that she can win in the game, she can win in competition and continue to give money back to the family itself. And that is exactly what makes her so dangerous, and that is also what makes her a disaster. I felt like the ending, by showing us that she is the disaster, is actually quite a smart act, because we finally is able to show a little bit of perspective of the story from the perspective of the disaster, not only from the perspective of the good guy, but we also get a little bit perspective from the bad guy itself. But I wouldn't call I wouldn't call Lopo a bad guy in the series, because she, at the end of the day, is trying her best to win the game. Like, like how in the way the game master actually narrates, how the game master actually sell the idea of the disaster, almost seems like they have a very scummy intention, very villainous intention. But remember, at the end of the day, DGP is a game, DGP is entertainment, and they are only playing the role that they have been given to them. I do not know whether or not you guys actually played the game Among Us, but I felt like that is like one of the most famous game during the COVID era. And if you never heard of Among Us, you are literally missing out big time. Okay, so if you do not know what is Among Us, go Google, search Among Us and all those stuff. But what I'm trying to say here, just because you are one of the monster in one game of the Among Us that you play with your friend, that doesn't make you a monster for the rest of your life. Like, that is just a role that has been given to you, and you are trying to play your role, something like that. And I really love how this episode actually ended with a statement saying that the disaster must perform their role. The disaster must do their job as a disaster. So they cannot pretend that, hey, I'm not the disaster, I'm not gonna execute my disaster mission, I'm just gonna do the thing that I want to do and something like that. So this is something really interesting, because in the next episode we know Lopo's family is gonna get captured, that they're gonna get tied up with the bomb itself. So we are gonna learn what Lopo is gonna do. Maybe at the end of the day, Lopo is gonna decide like, F this shit, I'm not gonna let my family die, and I'm just gonna help the player. I'm just gonna try my best to help the player to win the game and something like that. And that is exactly what causes her to be disqualified from the game, because she didn't actually fulfill her mission as a disaster itself. But does this actually make sense? Because if you really think about it, like, she didn't actually do much in the first two games as well to create sus, to create a lot of discussion behind like who could it actually be the disaster. Because for the first two games, the disaster is like maybe the first game they don't need to do anything, but the second game we don't actually get to see her doing anything at all. We only see Sparrow doing the heavy lifting rather than Sae herself doing the heavy lifting. So this is really interesting. But with that being said, let me move on to the second thing that I really enjoy in this episode, and that is Neon Kurama. Because Neon Kurama as a character, I know I actually speculated and I actually suspected that Neon Kurama could actually be the disaster rather than Sae, rather than Sparrow, rather than even Tycoon herself. But I really felt like Neon Kurama character in this episode by showing us that the mom actually really cares for Neon, and now that the mom actually knows about the disaster, and it actually gives us a really interesting perspective that maybe the thing that Neon's always wanted to find, we are reminded once again of what Neon wants to find and what Neon actually wishes for, and that is real love. And I got reminded once again after watching this episode is that there's a saying that always goes around, is that the only your parents is gonna love you unconditionally, but the rest of the people out there is gonna love you because you have something that they need. If you are beautiful, if you are handsome, they're gonna love you for your looks, and they might actually want you for themselves, and they might want you for sex, they want you for a relationship, they want you for a future, something like that. Are they still gonna love you the same after you reject them? Are they gonna still love you the same after you got married? That is definitely something really interesting for us to actually think about. So I felt like even if Neon actually got her wish fulfilled, like she wants to find a real love, she would actually be really surprised. What, like, if the realization of that love, the realization of that wish is actually her mom itself. I felt like that is definitely gonna blow her mind, something like that. But at the same time, I felt like Neon as a character has a lot of potential to grow to even greater heights, because Neon as a character, the best way for her to really live her life right now is for her to accept the love that the mom is actually trying to give her. Because I feel like a lot of people, there's a lot of different ways of a traumatic experience. Like some people only know how to give love because they felt like if I don't give, I am not worth anything. So some people only know how to give love, but some people doesn't know how to receive love. Even though they can give a lot, but they do not know how to receive. Like kind of like someone like who is giving a lot, but once they are being loved by someone, they felt very disgusted. They felt very like they do not know how to react. They would try to push the people away because that particular person might actually felt like, wow, I don't want to get too close because I scared that you're gonna betray me, you're gonna hurt me, something like that. And we are not sure whether or not Neon is that perspective or person, but I felt like if I am Neon's friend in real life, okay, if Neon is my friend in real life, one thing that I would definitely talk to her about is to really accept her reality. Like, hey, this is your mom and this is how she act, and obviously you cannot actually change her, and obviously part of the problem is also on the mother itself, but you just really know that it doesn't come from the, you can still go pursue what you want, but don't hate your mom for it, something like that. I felt like that's gonna be the advice that I'm gonna give Neon if she is my friend in real life, something like that. So with that being said, really glad that Kewa's sister actually make a return, and that is the third thing that I really enjoy about this episode is Kewa's sister. Okay, like when she is on screen, for some reason she's stealing the show, man. Like, she is legit stealing the show. Every time she's on screen, the way she smiles, the way she acted is very cute, very kawaii, like very adorable is what I'm trying to say. So I really enjoy Kewa's sister. Hopefully we get to see more of her, and I really want to see whether or not the memory of Kewa's parents being killed by Jyamato is actually a fake memory, or is it a real memory? We do not know. Okay, this is something that we do not know for sure, because if we were to to really think about the DGP itself, there's a lot of sassy stuff going on, and we still do not know a lot about the DGP itself. So like, are they even in the real world, or all these people that we see that is participating in the DGP itself are in that different pocket dimension, so they are not actually in the real world, something like that? Because for them to be able to control the entirety of the world, to kind of like make wishes come true just like a snap of a finger, seems too convenient and seems a little bit too overpowered. How about the rest of the rider that has been established in the continuity to be in the same world? Like, what are they gonna do about it? Like, when the world restart, like, what are the rest of the rider gonna do? When the Jyamato appear, what is the rest of the rider gonna do? Something like that. This just doesn't make sense. It makes more sense that this world that all of them are actually living in are actually a virtual world, a different pocket dimension world, something like that. But that is just a theory. But I just really want to see more of Keiwa's sister in the next episode, in future episode, not necessarily next episode. But with that being said, I really love how this episode show us Azuma having a little bit of like Jyamato vine surrounding his hand. That is so cool. I knew that he is gonna have a little bit of effect by the Jyamato rice buckle, just by the way that he got henshin into the Jyamato rice buckle. All the pain, all the vine poking into him is definitely gonna affect him a little bit. How is that gonna affect him in the long run? We are not sure. Whether or not he's able to defeat the so-called Jyamato virus. I'm just gonna term it the Jyamato virus. I'm not sure what to call it, but like I said, I'm gonna term it Jyamato virus. If Azuma can defeat the Jyamato virus and become and call the Jyamato rice buckle as his own power, he's gonna be really strong. Imagine him using the Jyamato rice buckle alongside the zombie rice buckle. How OP is that gonna be? I feel like he's able to summon a horde of zombie Jyamato on his side, and he's just gonna become kind of the king of Jyamato like that. That is, I really want to see that happening. Hopefully they do that. It is gonna be really fun. But that is not the only thing interesting about the Jyamato side of the story. We actually get to see the sponsors of the Jyamato Barrel Bar. Holy shit, we got a new waifu on the screen. Definitely not sure how evil this Berora actually is, but Berora seems to hate the DGP itself. Like when Azuma says that, so you are also one of the management of DGP, then Berora be like, the fuck, don't lump me together with them, something like that. So it really give me a perspective. It give me an idea that this Berora girl have more to say and more to come. And if at the end of the day, the Jyamato actually becomes the final villain of the show itself, then we are definitely gonna learn why that is the case and why Berora is doing this and all those stuff. Because there are people out there who is actually supporting the Jyamato, and there are people out there who is supporting the rider itself. And that is why in the previous episode title discussion, I actually put hashtag Team Jyamato or hashtag Team Kamen Rider. I felt like this is something that they are definitely gonna start pushing in Kamen Rider Geats. We're gonna see Jyamato team and Kamen Rider team, and maybe at the end of, like in the future, we're gonna see kind of like a Kamen Rider futsal, something bullshit. I don't know, okay? It's gonna be really dumb, but it's gonna be really fun as well. With that being said, lastly, I just want to quickly mention that in the next episode, we are actually gonna see Glare making a return with a different card. It is, I don't think we can actually call it Glare, but we should say the Vision Driver is making a return. We are gonna see a new suit, a white color Kamen Rider Glare. We are not sure how to call it. I'm pretty sure the user is gonna be Niram, because Niram by the end of this episode actually mentioned something really interesting, that like he said, like, it is time for me to step in to stop what is actually happening. Berora is asking Azuma to go into the game to sabotage the rider. So this is really interesting, because Niram, the game producer, stepping in to stop Azuma, show us that this is not what Niram actually have planned for Azuma himself. So really amazing stuff. But then again, I just want to quickly talk about what Niram is actually doing. Niram, you know, like when at the end of this episode, Niram actually like used the compass to look for the, I think it's the north direction or northeast direction, I forgot already. But and he's looking at that direction, and then he's eating the rice roll, the long sushi that the sushi that is not cut. I think they call it rice roll. And the reason why they are like he is actually doing that, that is a tradition in Japan. Like they call it the, I think it is to celebrate a new year and something like that. So there's a, it's kind of similar to the tradition of Chinese celebrating Chinese New Year. So for those who do not know, every single before the first day of Chinese New Year Eve, when the clock strike midnight, we are gonna put on a lot of fireworks. And the history and the story behind that is because there's gonna be a monster called Nian Shou. There's gonna come invade the village, and they're gonna kill people, they're gonna eat people. So one of the way for them to stop this monster is to hang the red cloths around the door, so to show that the Nian Shou that, hey, this is not welcome, you are not welcome. And then they also find out that if you use like firecracker, fireworks, like the Nian Shou is gonna be really afraid of that, and thus creating a tradition for us to do that every single year to chase away the Nian Shou, something like that. So in Japan, something similar also, they also have something similar to celebrate their new year as well. So they, instead of Nian Shou, they believe in the Oni, the ogre, the Oni with the horn one, like the red Oni, the blue Oni, something like that, whatever Oni you want to think about. But the story goes like the Oni is gonna invade the village similar like the Nian Shou, and what they're gonna do is that they're gonna use, I think it's rice or salt, I forgot whether or not it is salt or rice already. They're gonna throw at the Nian Shou, they're not Nian Shou, they're gonna throw at the Oni, and the Oni is gonna run away. So usually how they recreate that in the Japanese culture is that one of the family member is gonna play as the Oni, they're gonna wear the mask of the Oni, and then they're gonna just rush into the house, and then the rest of the family are in charge of throwing I think rice, I'm pretty sure it is rice, just throw the rice towards the Oni, and then the Oni is just gonna run away because of that. And after all that happened, I think I'm pretty sure that he's not supposed to do that in the middle of the night, but you're supposed to do it around 12 noon or something like that. Whatever hour it is, I think there's a dedicated hour for that. So what they do is like they have to face that direction and finish eating that whole rice roll, something like that. So that is a tradition of Japan. For those who seems kind of like what the hell Niram is actually doing for doing that, I forgot what exactly that tradition is called, but if I actually remember, I will leave it in the comment section below. So with that being said, that is all from me. Really fun episode. Next episode is also gonna be a really interesting episode because there's a lot of things that I feel like it is gonna bring this arc of the story to a climax, because I feel like within the next few episodes, the third arc is gonna finish, and we are gonna see who is actually gonna win this round of the DGP. And my bet is actually on Tycoon, because it is gonna end around episode 24 or maybe 25 for this third arc of the story. And if actually Tycoon managed to win this round of the DGP, then we are gonna see his wish to resurrect all the previous rider to be fulfilled. And when that happens, we are actually gonna meet Azuma friend, and we're also gonna meet maybe the giraffe, not the giraffe, maybe we're gonna meet the elephant rider that actually sabotaged Azuma friend and all those stuff. So this is gonna be really fun. But that is all from me regarding episode 20 of Kamen Rider Geats. If you made it this far into the video, I just want to ask you to comment the word sunblock in the comment section below to let me know you actually finished the video. Sunblock is the word. That is all from me. Hope you enjoy. Subscribe if you haven't. Goodbye.